Oh man, we live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. Yes, family tree. Let me know you're up in the building with me. Today's quick early morning session is kind of me ranting and raving a little bit. Okay, I have a show planned for Muslim Mondays or whenever you guys actually want to come in and do the debate. It is to do with, did Muhammad exist? Okay, did Muhammad exist or Muhammad did not exist? One of the two. I can't remember the actual topic itself in terms of the statement, but it's one of the two. Okay, so I'm inviting Muslims in to come in, debate, defend the existence of Prophet Muhammad. Did he exist or did he not exist? We've seen with inside of the more academic slash intellectual Christian milieu, there is the questioning of the authenticity of Muhammad, whether he existed or not. The main proponents of this would technically be Jay Smith. He's the loudest voice, I think. We have others such as Robert Spencer. Robert Spencer, I believe it's Robert Spencer is his name. He's also written a book, Did Muhammad Exist or Muhammad Did Not Exist? One of the two. Another guy, Sugar. What's his name? Not Paul. What's his name? He's come down Speaker's Corner a few times. I think he's got a Scottish accent or something along those lines anyway. But he's another one as well that actually talks on this topic. And I find them quite informative on the topic itself. It's quite interesting to get another aspect, another view. As I said, me personally, I like to hear diversity. I love to hear diversity of thoughts. Oh man, Terry Smith up in the building with me. And also, yeah, I love to hear the diversity of thoughts. So I would love for you guys to come in and defend yourself on that. I would love for those groups of Christians and atheists and historians as well to come in and actually tackle this particular topic in question. Myself, I got interested in this topic years back, and that was more from a historical aspect. And that's why I think I look at certain things differently to everybody else, because I'm just looking at it from like a It's like it's a piece of literature. Let me look at it from a historical perspective, and I find it very I love it. I absolutely love it. Like it's a point in history that is very fascinating to me personally. As a person that has studied history for years, that particular top point in history is always fascinating. Okay, cool. But let me actually just put forward a little gripe though. I'm going to put forward a gripe because I think today, I think I was watching something. I was listening to something and then I was checking out a book that an author, one of my other scholars recommended. I think it's one of their lecturers basically. And I looked into their work and I was like, oh man, this is what I'm talking about. I personally think in academia there is a level of racism inside of academia. There is a level of racism inside of academia, or if it's not racism, it's a level of laziness within inside of it. And why do I say this? I've kept saying this like for years now, like absolutely years. Because when I first delved into this topic, I actually wrote something on this, and I'm like, why don't I find any information? Like, why none of the scholars are talking about it? But this is like a critical, crucial part of the whole historical, questioning, analysis, and so forth. So let me just quickly show you what I read. Let me show you what I read. Okay. And I was like, okay, cool, cool. Let me know as well if the volume is good. So over here, let's see if I can maximize it. So over here, it's a book by Fred Donner, I believe his name is. Muhammad and the Believers, something along those lines. I should go to the beginning. Let me go to the beginning actually, if I can. Front cover, because I want to get back to this page. So front cover, Muhammad and the Believers, at the Origin of Islam by Fred M. Donner. Okay. I'm like, cool, 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 cool. Like, me, I read all this stuff. I love it. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever the case is. All right. But on the right, don't know, you won't be able to see actually in the bookmark, it talks about the different empires. It says, the Near East, the empires of the late antique Near East. And in there, it gives the book it goes into detail to do with the Byzantine Empire. It goes in to talk about the Sassanid Persian Empire. And I'm like, okay, so why don't you talk about the Aksumite Empire? Like, give me, as a historian, I want to learn, the only reason why I'm interested in Islam in the first place is because of the African connection, 100%. And because really and truly, why am I not interested in Sikh or Hindu stuff? Like, maybe because there's no African connection. So it's like, okay, cool. Clearly, the only reason I'm truly interested in Islam is because there is an African connection. It's part of African history that is untold. So give me more stuff to do with African history. And in there, like, there's literally nothing. It gives you something here. It says here, a third lesser power also existed in the Near East. Cool. At least you acknowledge it. The kingdom of Aksum, sometimes called sometimes Aksum, okay. The Aksumite capital was situated in the highlands of Ethiopia. But Aksumite engaged in extensive maritime trade from the port city of Adulis on the Red Sea coast. By the 4th century, Aksum had been converted to Christianity, and for that reason was sometimes allied with Byzantium. But in general, our knowledge of Aksum is very limited, and in any case, Aksumite culture did not contribute much to Islamic tradition, whereas both Byzantine and Sassanid Persia did. Hence, the most of our attention hereafter will be devoted to describing the Byzantine and Sassanid empires. I read that, yeah, and it just troubled my soul like so much. What do you mean it doesn't give way much to the traditions of Islam? So to me, I'm like, wait. Why is Byzantine Rome like far up in the north, Persia far off in the east being talked about, whereas the Aksumite Ethiopian Empire doesn't get no talkings, like no ratings at all? I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, you lot don't understand my frustration. Yeah, you lot don't understand my frustration. As a person who studies history, it's like, nah, nah, you're actually buoying the thing. Because without Ethiopia, without the Aksumite Empire, there will be no such thing as Islam today. And then you're just going to belittle it. It's mad. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, let me give you an example of what I mean. Let me share my screen yet again. Okay, let me go to another PDF. This time, this PDF is written by me. Hidden, hidden East African origins of Islam. Okay, I wrote this years ago. Okay, and this is technically a draft. I couldn't find the original anywhere, but it goes through a few things. It talks about the Ethiopia, the project, nationality, and I think it's basically proving, the thesis basically proving that Muhammad was an Aksumite, was part of the Abyssinian Empire. He was an Ethiopian. That's kind of the thesis. Okay, cool. Let me just jump to something quickly though. So anyways, in here, I'm just going to bring up some records, right? Yeah, cool. Here we go. Yeah, because I was thinking, let me go back because I know I've wrote about this. So I'm like, where is it? Like, let me go and search for it. I literally had to go and dig down deep. So, anyways, okay. As you can see here, there's the Roman Empire up here. There's the Persian Empire, right? But now this is the Aksumite Empire. Okay, Nobar, Beja, Abega, Merowe, Alodia, Aksum proper, Yemen, Hijaz. I think Hadramat would have been included as well. Like all of this region is the empire of Aksum, the Abyssinian Empire. So if we know that the Hijaz, where Muhammad is supposedly from, on the Arabian Peninsula, the Ethiopians were the power, the empire that was in charge, that had power over this region. Why don't we discuss it? Like, why don't nobody talk about it? And then you're now going to say, okay, let's talk about the Romans and the Sassanids, the Persians, all the way in the north, all the way in the east. Huh? Make that make sense. Why? Why have we gone so far? Like I've seen, like Jay Smith and other people like connecting. Yes, Muhammad really came from Persia. I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, why? Why have we gone all the way over there when the people themselves tell you where they're from, and we're now just going to disregard, the Aksumite Empire? Let me just quickly read this. This is right here is an inscription. What is this? 3rd century inscription found on the king's throne detailing what is said to be Gujarat military expeditions throughout mainland Africa, Upper Egypt, South Arabia, from Luke Kome, city in Nabaté, down to the Yemen, okay, inclusive of Mecca, Najran, and Zafar. It says here, I sent a fleet and land forces against the Arabite and the Sinai, anyway, I can't pronounce that, who dwelt on the other side of the Red Sea. And having reduced the sovereigns of both, I imposed on them a land tribute and charged them to make traveling safe both by sea and by land. I thus subdued the whole coast from Lukome to the country of the Sabians. I, first and alone of the kings of my race, made these conquests. Okay, so we know that from the 3rd century, yeah, all the way into the 6th, 7th century, right? This was part of the Ethiopian Empire. Okay, in fact, Lukome is all the way up here. It should be colored from up here. And let me just prove my point first. Let me actually, because I could just be talking nonsense, right? Let me go into this quickly. Let's present, share screen. Let's go to Lukome. Cool. Lukome. Look at this. Nobody will tell you about, why is it not showing up now? It's up here. Okay. Wow. What's going on? Look, it's right here. Lukome is right there. But why does it not show up when I go into it? I don't know. Okay, cool. That's where Lukome is. Yeah, located in Saudi Arabia. So the emperor was saying his rule is from all the way up here, all the way down to the Yemen, right? All the way down there. But no Muslim, no historian, no Christian is talking about this fact that Ethiopia was the reigning empire in the time of Islam. Nobody's talking about that. Why? We know that Muhammad had contact. His followers had contact. His uncle, everybody had contact with Abyssinia, Ethiopia. You had the king, the Najashi. You had Abraha, who were their protectors and looking after them and sending them gifts and, marrying them off to certain women and paying their dowries and, all this information about Ethiopia from the actual Muslim traditions. We see that from the Muslim traditions. But yet you're going to tell me that Ethiopia had no part to play in the birth of Islam and the rise of Islam and the traditions of Islam. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Like, I personally, I don't get it. Okay. So, and I'm telling you, if you lot actually studied African history is beautiful, right? But you start studying African history and you start studying what went on during that time period, there is a different understanding that you have of the Quran, full stop. In fact, this is another thing I wanted to say, yeah, because personally, like, let's separate the Quran and Islam, because I personally believe, this is my own beliefs, okay, my opinion, my beliefs. I need to prove it, so I'm going to state that out from the get-go. I personally think that the Quran goes back before, the traditional date of 632, or no, sorry, the Uthman Quran, 650. I believe it goes way back before that. I think you could find that in the 6th century. And I think we have archaeological records or paleological records of doing the Sana manuscripts to see that the pamphlet could be dated back as early as 540 AD. And if we start going back to 540 AD, 583 actually as well, they also say, for another one in the Birmingham one. Who was in power then? Yeah, who was capital was it in Sana where these manuscripts are found? The Ethiopian king Abraham. Like, these are the things, yeah, where it's like, why do we listen simply just to the traditions and not actually be historians and actually, okay, at this time frame, this was going on. The records say this is happening. We have archaeological records to prove what's going on, but yeah, we're not making the connection. We're just, bro. Anyways, let me just second myself quickly. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Bro, I write books, I do stuff. That's the anti-black taint of history. 100%. 100%. Like, why? Why? Yeah, man. Yeah. Because, okay, Priya, the earliest manuscripts of the Quran, I'm going to say this again, earliest manuscripts of the Quran. Yeah, let me do this actually. Let me do this. Let me share my screen again. Share my screen. Boom. Back over to Wikipedia. Let's see if we can find the Sana manuscripts. Sana? Nope, Sana manuscript. There you go. All right. The Sana manuscripts. No, you know what? Yeah, let's quickly do that. I don't know if we will have it anywhere. Do you know what? My favorite scholar. Let me go to my favorite scholar actually. Yeah, quickly. Let's present my screen again. just a quick early morning ones, right? So back to this. Let's go to variant readings. There you go. This is by Gabriel Reynolds. Yeah, Gabriel Said Reynolds. Sick guy that I look out for. Okay. It says here that the Birmingham University Library had been carbon dated to somewhere between 568 to 645. Let's just highlight that for a minute. Let's just quickly find the other ones as well. Cool. Yeah, the very early dating of the Birmingham manuscripts is 568 to 645. Cool. And where's another one? There's technically two manuscripts. Let's quickly see. Okay, cool. Meanwhile, two fragments of this same manuscript were sent out for dating by French scholar of early Arabic Christian Robin to a laboratory in Lyon. Results came back which indicated that the manuscript is older still. One fragment was dated to 543 to 643 and others to 433 and 599. Perfect. Cool. These date way before, yeah, the Uthmanic Quran. These should raise questions. Yeah, this should raise questions. 100% raise questions. Okay. Let me see. Come on. Get back. Get out. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. And I love, yeah. Let me see what he says here. The early dating of these Quran, his conclusion is this: the early dating of these Quran manuscripts help us make sense of this, even if it won't tell us the meaning of the mysterious letters or the identity of the Savior. It seems that by the time the Quran reached these scholars' works, whose work began to be written in the second half of the 8th century, it was already a very old text, which was no longer understood well. This is not a hypothesis. This is a hypothesis raised by Michael Cook at the end of this work. His work, blah, blah, blah. Now, the Quran appears to be older than imagined. Yeah, it appears to be older than imagined. The hypothesis seems more likely than ever. Okay, so there's already people saying that the Quran goes back way before the traditional dates of Islam, way before the traditional dates of Islam. And we're having manuscript evidence, archaeological evidence proving this. It's found in Sana'a, okay, in Yemen, the capital of the Ethiopian Empire. Yeah, or one of the capitals of the Ethiopian Empire. But yeah, we're not talking about this. Yeah, yeah, we're not talking about this. I don't get it personally. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, and then you know what else? Yeah, and this is another thing because when I was doing, because I wanted to do the conversation of did Muhammad exist or not, right? I said, all right, cool. Let me go back into my old stuff, right? Because we have to start establishing, if we're talking about historicity, we have to establish dates and times. We have the traditional 570. Us Muslims, where do you get 570 from? They don't know. It's just a made up date. It's literally a made up date. Yeah. They'll tell you, oh, the year of the elephant. But let's go back, yeah. Let's go into historical works, right? Of all, if you go into Ibn Kathir, all of them historical works, right? They will tell you, okay, look, let me just give you something here, right? See, this is what I love. I love scholarly work. See, I don't go to Muslims to learn about Islam. I don't go to Christians to learn about Islam. If I want to learn about a topic, I go to university and I learn the topic from actual scholars in the field. Okay. And luckily for us, all these Arabic manuscripts, they will tell us it's in the Leiden Leiden library. Here is the folio number. Here is the manuscript number. This is how you find it. Blah blah blah. But luckily for us, they've already translated and give us all the information. It says here, born in the year of the elephant, or 50 years after the attack. No. Let's go back up to where it starts. Okay. All right. This is in Morgality. Blah blah blah. And it's talking about when the prophet was born. The prophet was born 10 years after the elephant. 23 years. So many people are giving so many different accounts. Yeah. 10 years after the elephant, 23 years after the elephant, 15 years before the elephant. Muqtali says 40 years. Others, sorry, what was this? Wait, let me just read from this. Al-Kalbi, 23 years after the day of the elephant. Muqtali, 40 years. Others, 30 or 50 or 70 years after the elephant. put it this way, Muslims and Muslim scholarship, they don't even know when the Prophet was born. It could be in the year of the elephant, or it could be as much as 70 years after the year of the elephant. How do we place this man in history? Yeah, those are the after periods, right? And then I made sure I done the before periods. Okay, some say that he was born 15 years before the elephant. Some say 40 days or 50 days. Some say 30 years before the elephant. And finally, some say that there were 10 years between the expedition of the elephant and the mission. Okay, how do we place your prophet in history? How do we place Muhammad in history as a historian? Okay, I'm not here to disprove your religion or not, but how do we place him in history? When was it? Okay, I love what the Mutasilite says. The link between the date of the prophet's birth and the expedition of the elephant is, however, denied by the Mutasilite. God caused the miraculous events of Abraham's defeat for another prophet before Muhammad. Imagine that. So you're saying to me, yeah, according to the Mutasilite, yeah, they don't know who that prophet is. They give several names, such as Khalid ibn Sinan or Qus ibn Sa'ida. Okay, they say that this particular expedition of the elephant, this never took place, or this miracle, whatever it is, never took place in the time of the prophet Muhammad, but it took place in the time of a previous prophet. Jesu. How do you know you have the right Muhammad? How do you know you have the right Muhammad? That's my question. Because we do know that there was a previous Muhammad in the time of Abraham. We do know that this person was named because he was supposed to be a prophet. We know that he had his own creed and it went along with Abraham. And we like all of the stories that relate to the Muhammad of Islam, we have an outline of the same thing for previous Muhammad that took place in the year of the elephant, in the year of Abraham's expedition. How do you know you have the right Muhammad, or these stories are not just garbed up information of people's memory of the past and telling you about, you know, let me not even go there. Yeah? Let me not even go there. Let me stick back to whatever, because this is how I get myself into trouble. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I can't wait for this show. We're gonna have a show to debate this topic. Did Muhammad exist? Usually, it's Muslim Mondays, and technically speaking, it might be on a Tuesday. Okay, but we have to establish. If you want to prove the existence of Muhammad, let's establish him in history. And my question to you is, which one is the right date? We've gone through Muslims accounts to say traditions, or Muslim traditions of accounts, to say that he could be born anywhere from 70 years after the year of elephant up to 30 years before the year of the elephant. Do you understand? That's a whole century. That's a whole century, 100 years, yeah, to place Muhammad. Imagine that. We might have Muhammad in the wrong century. We may have him in the 7th century, but he belongs to the 6th century. Pre that. That's even to say even existed, right? That's now you have to prove that one of these Muhammads even existed. Jesu. I can't wait for that conversation. That is going to be tantalizing to me, because I'm just praying that the historians amongst us, the academics amongst us, will actually come on the panel to have this conversation. Wallahi, I don't even want to hear from like Muslims, really and truly, like traditional Muslims, because they don't have a clue of this stuff, because they don't know. They just follow along, right? I want those who are Muslims, if they do know, who are the educated ones, give us the answer, or those who actually studied, give us the answer. Because when I hear these talks, I'm like, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. There's literally, when people say things like with certainty about Muhammad, I'm like, how are you so emboldened to make such claims? You know, me as a person, I've studied this intensely, more than I know that anybody else around me has ever studied it. Yeah, I can't even come to a conclusive of this is what happened. Basic facts of how old he was, basic fact of when he was born, basic fact of how many children he had, basic facts we can't even say for certain. Like none of the Muslim scholars are in like unison with it. It's like the most basic facts, but yet you could tell me he said X, Y, and Z, but you can't tell me the most basic information about him. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, um, let me see what you guys are saying. In fact, let me share the link because I'm just doing a quick one, right? And I'm hoping that the audio is clear. And test out all these, these little intricacies because I'm streaming right now on StreamYard, and I want to see if that actually works good as well. Let's see. Teach Caleb, teach. Real in-depth discussion. JD says, uh-oh. uh-oh. What about the Tibet kingdom that was before or after Islam? Yeah, that's true. Preceded it. All these apes and their forces need to be sent back to the cave. Let's see. What you guys say, man? Tag Titans TV. Let me know what you guys are saying. Let me know what you guys are saying. And yeah, don't forget to like up the show as well, man. Like up, show some love, show some support. Let us know that you're here for us. Like up the show. I'm only trying to do a quick show, so you don't need to share or anything. Callum, could we get some more Shia topics? Yeah, 100%. I would love that. Is it possible? Do you know what? I'm gonna have to reach out to my Shia friends to see if they will come on and give us a nice little run through a presentation. We have had Shias before, such as Riza, his brother. We've had the other gang. I'm forgetting everybody's names now, but yeah, we had that band there. That was a time to be had. I can't wait. I need to be reaching out to everybody again to let them know that I'm back. Because he was Christian. Okay, see, unpopular opinion by me, I 100% believe so. Okay, I 100% believe so. The person actually died. Do you want me to? Should I give you my own thing? Okay, no, 100% that. No, let me be more precise. The Quranic authors, editors, scribes were of Christian background, Judaic Christian background, 100%. There's no two ways about it. 100% of Judaic Christian background, because you have to have read the scriptures in order to come up with what you're saying. It's just that clear and simple. From a historical point of view, I'm not. If you guys want to believe from a faith-based side, you don't need to listen to me. From a faith-based side, and you have your own opinion, that's fine. But I'm telling you from a historical perspective and what scholars are basically alluding to, the community that created the Quran were definitely Judeo-Christians. 100%. In fact, the community itself was made up of, when we talk about the Ummah, when we talk about the Mu'min, it was made up, when you look at the Medinian constitution, it was made up of Jews, it was made up of Christians, it was made up of pagan converts on the Muhammad, if that was the person, under Muhammad's leadership. So yeah, it was definitely like everybody was included, man. It's a bit like this channel. It's an inclusive channel. It's an inclusive channel. But then the early Ummah was an inclusive one. And it's proven, like it's literally proven when you go back into archaeology, go back into the numismatics, i.e. the coins, go back into, the literary sources. It's all there. It's all there. But unfortunately, most of us, we listen to the traditionalist school, i.e. the Hadithi school of people telling you what Islam is. And it's like, it hurts my brain because then when Christians talk, I'm like, you yourself, et tu, Brutus, et tu. Like, why are you buying into that propaganda for? Like, I don't know. Like, read Iqra, read it for what it is. Read the book itself. Like, it's like now picking up the Bible, but reading it through the Mormon's perspective. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would all your reading materials be surrounded by Mormonism and you're looking at the Bible through the lens of Mormonism. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Can't you just pick up the Bible and just read it for yourself first and foremost and come up with your own conclusion? And then afterwards, if you need secondary sources, go to that. It's the same thing with the Quran. I'm just seeing them go straight to the traditionalist school of thought of how they view the Quran. It's like, why are you reading these tafsirs, these exegesis, these commentaries, all these things from these other people? Why? What can't you just read it from it for itself? And then take it as any other piece of literature and read it within its historical context. But anyway, that's just me. Because when I read the Quran and these other literatures, I'm like, I don't understand how most people come to the conclusions that they come to. Because it's like, anyways, let me keep quiet. Raza became Sunni now, Callum, since you left. I heard. That's going to be interesting. I would love to know what type of Sunni he's become. Because he was deep in Shiaism. I would love to know what actually flipped the switch for him and flipped the script for him. That'd be interesting. And with Islam and especially like, Shias and Sunnism, it's a major part of their identity. Imagine going home now and saying you're no longer a Shia and you're a Sunni. It's like a spit on the face of your ancestors. So it's going to be very interesting to hear his story. Very interesting. Okay. Let's see. Could you do a talk with the Titans with Tommy Sotomayor? Yeah, hopefully. I need to start reaching out to these people. I definitely need to start reaching out to a lot of people. I'm not lazy. What's the word? Yeah, I haven't been reaching out to as much people as I should be. Yeah, that's what it is. But I need to be. Cool. Because they are mentally unstable two-legged apes. Okay. Anyways, family tree. This was like a little quick one just to test it out. But I would love for you guys, if you can, please just come in, because I want to just make sure that the volume is good. Because I want to do more shows, I think, directly from StreamYard. So if anybody can just come in, speak, make sure that there's no echoes in the background, I'll be so happy. That is all. Yeah. See, every time we do a show, yeah, do you know I have to like pick up books to read? Like I remember I had to New Testament. I'm just seeing a New Testament, Bart D. Ehrman. This was for yesterday's show to do with Christianity. What was it? Is Jesus God? That was it. Is Jesus God? I had to pick up that book to be like, okay, cool. Just in case anybody says anything, I make sure I have, the scholarship there. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Empress Sakina.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
All good, bro. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm loving the fact that your voice is coming through clear. Family tree. Those of you guys in the background, let me know if there's any echoes. Does it sound good? That's what I want to know. So, Sakina, tell me your background.
I'm from Speakers. I'm Empress Becca. Do you remember? Yeah. I used to hang around with Respect and Jedi and all them lot there.
Okay, if I'm seeing you correctly, no, you're not the. Forgive me for saying this. The white woman with the hijab.
Yes.
There you go. Cool. Yeah. I know exactly who you are. Okay. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Actually?
It's all right, obviously, I don't really get involved with this YouTube stuff though anymore. I've decided like there's no point talking about religion with people on YouTube. You get me? Because like they just twist up your words, So I don't really debate it. That's why I didn't come on the other night when you asked me to come on. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't debate.
All right. So I'm assuming that you're a Muslim.
Yes.
A Muslim convert.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your story. Tell us like what brought you to the truth? There you go.
It just made sense to me, and obviously I got involved with the Speakers Corner crowds and whatnot, and I started obviously talking to a lot of Muslims, and it just like for me it's just like that white Jesus thing. Nah, not on it. Do you know what I mean? Not on it. And it just makes sense to me, and obviously like it sounds silly. People think, oh, Becca's a chatting shit, but like, I was like, it's like I was getting signs, if that makes sense. Like I was in a very predominant Muslim area. Everyone I was talking to was Muslim, and I was like, okay, like, and I was just getting like little signs, and I was thinking, do you know what? Let me just look into this, because like a lot of people think I just reverted for the sake of reverting. No, I actually researched into it, yeah, before I actually went into doing my
This is what I
shahada and
love.
whatnot.
This is what I love, because it seems as though out of all the religions, right? It's mainly Muslim converts or reverts, however you want to say it. They usually do the most amount of research before they actually do, make the pledge to become what they are. And they usually are the most zealous or most committed ones to the religion compared to the other peers. Are you from East London by any chance?
I originally come from South.
Oh, South, and they were
Yeah.
everybody was Muslim.
Well, I
What?
lived in Hackney. I lived in Hackney for like 13 years. I now live in West. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, say less. Okay, is it fair? Let me just quickly read this before we get the Muslim apologists on. Is it a fair assumption to suggest that the original authors and developers of the Quran were Gnostics, heretics, and disgruntled Jews? Okay, so again, it's gonna be techie, but no, I don't think so. I think that they came out of very much so Orthodox Judeo-Christian Judeo-Christian milieu, and I think they were heavily influenced by East Syrian Christology. Yeah, East Syrian Christology. That's my own personal opinion on the matter. I would have to prove it, okay, because that's just an opinion. I'm just stating something, but I would have to prove it by going into the text and showing how it correlates with each one as a proof. But for now, I'm just stating it as an opinion. So take it with a pinch of salt, basically. Okay. Let me get Muslim apologist in. Muslim apologist, talk to me, King.
Yes, Assalamualaikum, brother. Thank you for having me again.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah.
Okay, did
How
you
are
want
you?
to add something to the conversation? Yeah, I'm good.
Not really. I just joined, so maybe perhaps I'll just let the conversation flow, and then if there's anything, I will add on. All right.
There you go. So my brother's calling in all the way from Malaysia. I believe you are 6 hours. Is it 6 hours ahead?
Yes, it's 7:13 p.m. right now, and Maghrib is just a few minutes away.
Okay. No, so you're 7 hours. So Philippines and Malaysia are the same time zone then.
No, yeah. Philippines is, I think, 1 hour behind me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because yeah, we've got, I'm loving it now because again, we're so like all the way in the east, Philippines, Malaysia, then we've got people all the way in the south, Senegal, Cameroon calling in, then we've got people all the way in America calling in as well. So it's like we're literally worldwide, yeah. And it's crazy to try to put on shows where everybody could be involved. Usually we do the shows late, like around 8-11 p.m. That way, people in the UK, Africa, Europe, and America can tune in. But my Eastern followers, they're like, "Come on, man, Cal, do some shows nice and early, midday for us, so we can get involved as well." Okay, let me read out some of these comments.
Yeah.
I'm not here for a long time though, just to let you guys know. It was just basically to test out the system and just to rant a little bit. Okay, a coin was. Let me just read out everybody's comments. A coin was found which dated about 685 CE. One side of the coin had Muhammad, while the other side of the coin had the cross symbol. It can't be a Muslim coin because Islam rejects the crucifixion of Jesus. Thus, some historians believe it's a Christian coin, and there were a group of Christians who referred to Jesus as the praised one. It seems the Prophet of Islam adopted this. Sorry, let me just finish off his thing. Title: after he claimed to have received revelation and it became a name. Some believe the real name of the Prophet of Islam is Kuthum. I haven't never seen the name Kuthum as a name for the Prophet. I believe maybe Abu Bakr, I believe, had the name Kudhema or something, Kuthum, something like that, but I'm not from Muhammad. Let's just dive into that. Muhammad on one side of the cross and the other. Okay, I would say that if you actually read in early Islam, not everybody scholars are of different opinions. Basically, not everybody hold that Jesus wasn't crucified in Islam. Okay, that's just, again, everybody, you're just hearing one side of the story. If you go into the scholarship and you read, okay, you have Ibn Abbas and other people believe that yes, Jesus did die, yes, he did get crucified, etc., etc., etc. It's only a certain group of scholars who say no, he didn't get crucified via reading the Quran. I don't even want to get into that because that's going to be another technicality, and that's a whole debate in itself, which I definitely do want to have with my Christians and Muslims. Did Jesus get crucified? Yes or no, according to the Quran? Yes or no? What is the significance of the crucifixion in Christianity, etc.? Forgiveness of sins. This is like a whole big debate topic that I'm not even going to touch on too much here because it's techie, and it's techie, and it should really be handled with care. But I'd love to have that conversation on the channel. So no,
Yeah,
I think it
it's
can
quite
still
it's
alive.
quite yeah, sorry, it's quite
Yeah.
strange that you brought it up because you see I'm going to have a debate with someone on a different platform on the topic
Mhm.
of sin and salvation in Islam and Christianity. So I think it relates to what you were saying just now. Yeah.
Yes, it definitely ties in. So what channel are you having a debate on, and when will it be?
It's called COF FF, and I think it will be held in around 5 p.m. UK time on Saturday, but it would be around 11 p.m. my time, almost close to midnight my time. Yeah, so I think in the UK
Amazing.
it will be about 5 p.m. and the link is on my channel in the community section. You can go to my channel, the Muslim Apologist, and go to the community tab and scroll down. You will find the announcement there. Yeah.
Great. And who are you debating?
Some guy by the name of Matthew. This would be our third debate because we had 2 rounds of debate previously on different separate topics on Islamic versus Christianity. So this third round, it would be about sin and salvation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's going to be good. I'm tuning in on for that one as well. Let me quickly just finish off. And it says here, referred to Jesus, believed it's a Christian coin, and there was a group of Christians referred to Jesus as the praised one. I've heard this claim, right? I've heard this claim that there's Christians that refer to Jesus as
Yeah,
the praised one.
this claim actually sounds familiar to me, the one about the finding of the coin. So my take on it would be I think Islamic Awareness has this coin shown. I don't know whether you're familiar with the website called Islamic Awareness. They have a section where they show the the oldest manuscripts and of the Quran, as well as some coins from the era of the Umayyads, the Abbasids, and so on, mostly Umayyad coins. And I think one of these coins came up. So the explanation for this is that during those times, the Umayyad Empire was expanding. So they did not have time to mint coins. So what they did was they crossed out the section where the Christian writings were were marked, and then they replaced it, or on the other side of the coin they put in Islamic wordings, which is why you see Allah or Muhammad or the Shahada on the other side. And then on the flip side, you will find there will be a image of a Roman emperor or maybe even a cross on it. So it's not because Islam was just was being formed or something, or some crazy theory that some revisionists have put forth, but it's simply because of the circumstances of the time. They needed coinage. There was no time to make new coinage when the empire was expanding. Therefore, they minted coins or they didn't mint any coins. Basically, just took the coins that were already circulating and they just carved in with their own inscription on one side. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, this claim that Jesus was called the praised one, it doesn't seem far-fetched, but I've yet to see the actual evidence of it itself. So that would be quite interesting if somebody can bring forth that actual evidence of where it is stated that Jesus was called the praised one. That would be good because that adds more
I've never
to the
seen.
conversation and debate.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think there were any group of Christians that called Jesus as the praised one. So I think this is very far-fetched and very speculative.
yeah. Okay, just 1 second. Now, and then it says here to receive a revelation and became a name. Some believe that the real name of okay, cool. So we see that Muhammad had several different names. He had Ibn Abi Kabsha was one of his other names. our titles. We have Mustafa, we have Alameen, we have a few other names actually that's written with inside of Tabari and elsewhere, which could be classified as titles. So it'll be interesting. I really want to see more work done on it. I would love to see debates because this is like new cutting edge information or claims. So I would love to see debates on this topic or more information on this topic itself. Let's quickly read through the last of these comments before I go. Yeah, so yeah, family tree. What are you guys saying? Did you enjoy so far? Let me see. Can I make it interesting for you guys? Let me pick your brains. Let me pick everybody's brains and cause some type of controversy before I leave. Okay, so let me go through this. 1 second. Let's see. In Shoemaker's book, Death of a Prophet, it suggests that perhaps Muhammad was a name that religious leaders adopted only after claiming to prophet, and that name, Muhammad, meaning. Okay, let me see. Where do I want to go then? Do we stick on Muhammad or do we do something a bit different? I'm trying to get something before I go, you know. I'm trying. Help me out. Somebody, give me a topic because we have Muslim apologists here, and it'd be a shame not to ask him a question or to probe his mind so you guys can kind of learn something. You know, we need something because, you know, not so often that we have such names on the channel. So let's get something going. Nah, no problem. It was the whole Israelite thing. Me, Christianity, Islam, basically the same thing in my eyes, Jewish ancestral worship. Okay, cool. So again, I'm asking you guys for some questions to give to the Muslim apologist. Okay, give me a question so we can give to him because he's filled with information, filled with knowledge, and I'm sure there's something that you guys can learn from him before we go. Okay, so I need something. No, I ain't giving us nothing. So let me actually go into this then. In your debate coming up, give me the brief overview of your premise.
So my premise would be that in Islam there is no concept of original sin. Each man is held accountable in the form of purity called the fitrah. So man has been born pure according to Islam, and man has been elected as vigilant on this earth, and that sin. Every man is accountable for his own sin, and we do not need a sacrifice or some blood sacrifice in the form of some sinless entity to die for our to as a sacrifice to die for our sins, and that the issue of someone or something dying for our sins is actually a heresy and a transversity to universal truth, and basically goes against human rights as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much a rundown of what I will be presenting during my opening statement. Yes.
All right, interesting. Okay, so let's just say, for example, part of Islam is to affirm or to say you have a belief in the books of the scriptures that was revealed to God, revealed by God to humanity, including the books such as the Torah and so forth. Now, apart from Christianity, we know via the Torah that there were a concept of sin, and via the concept of sin, there was a wage to be paid for that sin. So, therefore, the Israelites used to, when they had their priesthood operational, when they had their temple operational, they used to give sin offerings at their temple to God. Is that something that you negate as ever happening, or negate comes from God, or how do you square that?
I would say perhaps that kind of practice would be applicable during the time of the Israelites. However, since the Quran has been revealed, and we do have that sort of practice, but it's called, instead of having a system of having a temple where there are a group of priests going out and giving burnt offerings and giving animals as sacrifice, like as how the ancient Israelites did it. We instead we do it during Eid al-Adha, or we just do it as a sacrifice to be given. The purpose of that sacrifice is not actually to atone for sin, but basically is to be used as as a form of sadaqah, or as a form of giving alms to the poor in a sense, right? So we don't, in Islam, we do not have that concept of giving up offerings or giving up sacrifice for the expiation of sin. The deeds that we do already, existing deeds that we do already, not just through sacrifice but through prayers, to giving charity, to doing good, to fasting, all this culminates into the expiation of sin. So it's not just about sacrifice alone, you see, so that we are quite
So,
different in that.
all right. So, as far as I understand, then, so the Quran and the covenant, the millet, or the deen of Islam. Let's do that. The deen of Islam, okay, does not have the concept of original sin. It does not have the concept that sin must be paid for via a sacrifice, okay. But it acknowledges that in the previous scriptures, such as the Torah, amongst the Jews, there was a practice of animal sacrifice to atone for one's sin.
Yes,
Is that correct?
that's right. That is
Okay,
correct.
cool.
Absolutely. In fact, we have the story of Adam, right, where his children were told to perform sacrifice to God, and one of their sacrifices was accepted and the other of not. I'm going with the Quranic narrative, by the way. The Quran doesn't give us the details of why that came to be, right, as compared to the Bible, but in the Quran we have that. So I believe that this is basically the primitive form of sacrifice, which of course eventually came down to the concept of burnt offerings and sacrificial ceremonies as per the early Israelites, and then again evolved right up until Islam, and then now Islam has this concept, but it's not the same as the previous Sharia or previous laws, as I would call it. So each milieu, each ummah, each community had their own form of worship and sacrifice to God.
Okay, so now let's get to the interesting part then. So we know that Islam, from the time of Islam onwards, there's no need for sacrifice in that respect of burnt offerings and so forth, right? But even in Christianity, they also say there's no need for the burnt offerings and so forth, right? Because the ultimate sacrifice was made, the Lamb of God, the sheep of God, the Lamb of God. I think this is the
Jesus,
terminology is the Lamb of God. Jesus,
Lamb of
paid the ultimate sacrifice. He gave up his own life willingly for his blood to be an atonement of everybody's sin. So therefore, there's no more need for sacrifice because he is that sacrificial lamb. So is there a problem with that, or from your worldview, or not?
Totally, there's a problem with that. And if you look at the Bible, it clearly says that God, human sacrifices are forbidden, and then it also says that God cannot be a man that he should be come down to earth. And also there's also First Kings chapter 8 verse 27, where he says where Solomon says that God cannot be contained in this temple, much more so the whole premise of sacrifice, the concept of giving up a sinless man for atonement, for for the expiation of sin of the whole world, mankind, actually traces back to the idea in Christianity. I mean, it traces back to the idea that Jesus must be God, and therefore, if Jesus is God, but somehow he died on the cross by Roman pagans, how would that justification be made? So therefore, the Christian theology came up with these stories about it has to be because he had to die for our sins. So where does then the question comes back? Where does this sin come from? What is this sin that is so great that it has to be something greater than that, which is in the form of a sinless man, or a sinless man in the form of God, who needs to die for this? So again, then the story goes back to the concept of original sin, which is what happened in the garden, where Adam and Eve, Hawa, ate the forbidden fruit. So then Christians say, oh, this sin is so great. Adam had eaten this fruit against God's will, to the point that it can never be forgiven, and that his descendants had to inherit the sin until finally, someone who has to come down on, sinless, in the form of in God, in the form of flesh. He has to die for this sin, because he loves us, and because he wants us to be free of this sin. He's willing to come down to earth in the form of a man in order to die, and as an expiation for sin. So all this goes back to the idea that Jesus must be God, and what is the justification for, if Jesus is indeed God, then what is the justification for God to die at the cross? Yeah. So this is the logic that, unfortunately, Christians have come up with throughout the ages.
Okay. All right. So again, could you tell us the debate title that you've got coming up on COV
Yeah, the title
FF
is called Sin
channel?
and Yes,
Sin,
yes, that's right. It's
sin
actually,
and
I think it's already Sin and Salvation. Yeah.
sin and salvation. Whoa, that's
Yep.
going to be a good one. Let me just post that up, and then
It
I'm going
is.
to share the
It is.
channel that it's going to be on.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
go to the
just
channel COF channel, you will find the link there. Yeah.
okay. Let's just get that up quickly so we can let everybody know where they can find it. COV
Yep.
FF.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. COV FF channel. There you go. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm.
StreamYard. Let's just present this channel. And we've got 3 minutes before I'm closing down the show, everybody. Okay, so if you've got anything to say it now. So we've got COV FF channel. Let's see, is there anything there?
The live streams tab. Yeah, you need to click on the live tab.
Let's
Yeah.
go to live. There we go.
There
The
you
origins
go.
of
The origin
sin
of sin. Yeah.
with Matthew
Yes.
and the Muslim apologist. Can I get a notification? Yeah,
Yep.
notify me. So that's in 2 days' time for us in the UK, September the 21st at 5 p.m. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Does it give us a little brief of what it's going to be? Nope. Hosted? Nope. It
Not
doesn't really give us
really.
a
Not
brief.
really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So it is to do with the origin of sin. Where do Christians find their forgiveness of their sins versus Muslims, and how they find their forgiveness of sin? Can't wait for this one. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. I hope you guys are going to be tuned in as
Thank
well. But for now,
Thank
I'm
you.
actually going to be signing out. I love you guys. Empress Sakina, have you got any closing words for us?
Not really. Just take care, everyone. I only came up here to help you out with your sound still.
No. I can't wait because I now, everybody said that the sound sounds fabulous, fantastic, but I now need to go back and listen to everything, and hopefully it's good. And if it's all good, I might actually upgrade it to go into 1080p and remove the whole StreamYard logo. So yeah, and then we're gonna have loads more shows. That's gonna sound good and look good. Family, I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace and love.